Hey guys, today we're going to talk about some of the tips and techniques that you can use to catch some summertime bass. Generally when they move off of the shore, real shallow structure, and you move out to the offshore structure in about that 20-foot range, maybe even deeper sometimes, depending on where your lake's thermocline is, where those schools of bait fish like to hang out. And we'll talk about in this first part about using crankbaits and swim baits. And we'll also talk about some morning topwater baits that you could use. And in this next part, we'll talk about more of the soft plastic way to go in catching these summertime bass. Alright, we're going to look through my crankbait box. Got a lot of Norman crankbaits. We got all kinds of Strike King and all the top crankbaits that you can get. When you're thinking deep diving, you're thinking about that 20-foot range. You can pick up a Strike King 6XD. This is the chartreuse greenback. Works very well in murky water, not as much as in clear water. We also have the Strike King 5XD, which is just a step below, which goes about 15 feet generally. And then we also got the Norman Deep Diving. This goes about 17 feet. If you can get it down there with the right line size, about 12 pound to 10 pound, or whether you're using fluorocarbon or monofilament. We also got some of these other Normans that dive about 15 feet, just like the 5XDs. Those generally work whenever you're trying to go offshore and catch those bass that are sitting on maybe some offshore points and humps like that, and also some brush out real deep. When you start moving up shallower, you're going to switch over to some of the medium diving or even the square bills. Got some brim colored square bills for when the brim are spawning in summer heat like this, and then the shad also will be spawning in this time of year. You also can use the lipless, which you can control the depth that these go to. Generally you're going to want to let it sink to the bottom and then work it off the bottom. Usually you'll get your reaction by whenever you hit it off of different rocks and sticks and stuff like that. You got some of your more medium diving ones, probably for murkier water, and you can use just about these deep diving ones. They work when if you are in a boat. Run over some areas if you do have like a nice fish finding unit like a Lowrance or Humminbird or any kind of find some structure or even bait. Like you just see a big cloud of bait, and if you can find those, you generally, even if you're in a tournament, you'll do pretty good if you can find those, locate them, and get down to them with some of these real deep diving crankbaits. Now we will look at some swim baits. Swim baits come in all different shapes and sizes. They have the these Berkley minnows. There's the Yum Money minnows, which look just about the same. They're all hollow, and you can throw these with weighted hooks or some of the swim bait hooks. And then there's the smaller ones. I like to put a treble hook just as your insurance. If that bass doesn't grab it enough, that treble hook should pick them up. These Storm swim baits, there's some brim. They come in different sizes. I've got some that are medium and then some that are really small, depending on what those bass are chasing and feeding on. And then I got some of these just regular built-in hook swim baits you can get from Berkley Power Bait. Those are real good. Some of the soft jerk baits or the flukes. Those work good through grass and lily pads if you run them right over the top of them. And now we'll talk about some top water baits that I like to use. The Rebel Popper series, those are amazing when you find out the right colors. There's baby bass colors, or there's like shad looking colors. Those work. We got the Storm, what is this, you can help me out, I lost what it was called. And hollow belly frogs, those work good with lily pads. And grass, generally, depending on what the temperature and the weather's like, usually the best time to use these is when it's kind of cloudy out, but I mean they'll hit it if they're in lily pads. The Zara Spooks, this is the One Knocker Sexy Shad, or Sparkle Shad. These are good for, I've caught plenty of huge striper on this, but I've also caught some nice bass out at Lake Ouachita on it actually. You can also use these Zara Puppies, a little downsize from the Zara Spooks. You can come in a large amount of colors. And the Alabama rig, I don't have one right now. I've lost a few, and I've used them to win some tournaments. I won a tournament out on Lake Dardanelle with one. But they work very well if you can get it down and let it sink. You don't want to get it too far down into some structure where you can actually lose them like I did. And this is the conclusion of the first part of summertime bass techniques.